Here.
Sorry. I have an old sheet, still says 20. I forgot. Councilmember Vickers,
Present.
Councilmember Dawson,
Here.
Councilmember Draper,
Here.
Mayor, and I'm here.
All right, everybody please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Lord and Creator, thank you for everyone who's here to be with us tonight. Please guide us in this meeting and help us do your will and all decisions made. Thank you for everything you do for us. In your son Jesus' name, amen. Amen. All right, we're gonna review the November minutes.
Okay. First, you've been finance meeting minutes, March 13th, 2025. Committee Chair Sean Draper called the finance meeting to order at 6 p.m. Present were Councilmember Yancey, Councilmember Miller, Councilmember Hilliker, Councilmember Raines, Councilmember Dawson, and Councilmember Draper. Also present, Mayor Dwayne Delaire and Recorder Treasurer Bill Vanderpass. Absent, City Attorney Brad Sipe, Councilmember Vickers, and Councilmember Turner. All stood for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation led by Councilmember Miller. The minutes from October 9th finance meeting were read by Recorder Treasurer Vanderpass. Councilmember Miller moved to approve the minutes, seconded by Councilmember Dawson. Minutes were approved by voice vote. Treasurer's report. The Recorder Treasurer noted that revenues and expenses are much higher than normal for the month. This is consistent with the credit card payments being up due to park and rec fees. No additional issues were noted by council. Old business. Renewal of the sheriff's contract was discussed. Charlie had submitted a breakdown of the yearly charges along with an explanation. This was included in the council packet. The motion was made by Councilmember Hilliker and seconded by Councilmember Miller to forward the matter to the next council meeting. Motion passed by voice vote. Councilmember Miller brought up leasing the building formerly known as the Boy Scout building to the Scouts. He had a lease drawn up and forwarded to the city attorney Brad Sipe for comment. Mr. Sipe had no issues with it, but forwarded it to the mayor for his consideration. The mayor stated that it was a standard lease agreement with written and legalese. There was discussion on the current state of the property and repairs that might be needed. The lease will be forwarded to the Scout authorities. A motion was made by Councilmember Miller and seconded by Councilmember Raines to forward the matter to the next council meeting. Motion passed by voice vote. Recorder Treasurer introduced a resolution setting the mill rate for 2025, which is collected in 2026. The city is currently at the maximum of 5 mills. A motion was made by Councilmember Miller and seconded by Councilmember Dawson to forward the resolution to the next council meeting. Motion passed by voice vote. New business. The Recorder Treasurer informed the council that Bluegrass Roofing, the entity that had been engaged on replacing several roofs for MRID and the city, had fired their main claims manager and had withdrawn from the state of Arkansas. There are at least 4 roofs that have not been completed, and Bluegrass has been paid the depreciated value for each roof. The investment in the library roof alone, which has not been started, is over $57,000. There was much outrage and discussion. The contracts for these roofs were entered into without council's knowledge or approval. Brad Sipe has been contacted, and the mayor offered to call his contacts at Bluegrass. There was discussion about what to do while the city is lacking a building inspector. The mayor suggested that the city hire a fully certified inspector. The mayor accused Dan Robinson of charging for plumbing inspections that were done by Chris Bigness. The question was asked about the status of the cart shed. The mayor interjected that contractors did not want to do business because Lori Kunzman made complaints about contractors involved with the pavilion project. Ms. Kunzman took exception and asked if she was to blame for reporting on wrongdoing. The mayor replied yes. A motion to adjourn was made by Councilmember Hilliker and seconded by Councilmember Miller. Motion passed by voice vote. Meeting was adjourned at 6:58 p.m.
Any changes? Anyone see? Discussion.
I move to accept the minutes as presented.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say the same. Minutes passed. Finance report.
So the treasurer report reflects a high amount of revenue again as opposed to as compared to expenses. And that's 2 months in a row. And I believe we had a little bit of a process problem with taking monies that were received by credit card that were specifically aimed at the fees versus water. We use the same website for that. And so I think we have it rectified. That's That's the good news, but bad news is there's gonna be a really big check going to Parks and Rec this month, kind of to offset this large revenue because it had never been given to Parks and Rec like it was supposed to be, so we will see that in January's report.
How much money is going to parks out of that?
Well, the PSN part of it's like $134,000.
Out of general fund?
Yeah, it comes from, because all the credit cards go to the general fund first. And we thought it was transferring, but it wasn't, and I think there was some, water department thought it was done by Park and Rec thought it was water, and neither one of them transferred it and just sat there, so. We've got that fixed, the process is all good now, but this is there.
So when it comes out, how much is left in the general?
I think the last time, because we haven't deposited a check yet for that reason, because we want to make sure we're safe, but it looks like it'll be about $100,000 in the general fund, so we'll be safe. But we're typically used to more like 150 to 250,000 in that account, so. So, I guess since the mayor's not here, let me at least introduce each of these topics. The building inspector, the only reason for bringing that up is we had talked about what to do now, how do we handle permits now, while we're looking for a new building inspector.
I talked to Dave and he's talked to Russell from the state,
Okay,
and until February 1st, they will do it. We just have to compile what needs to be done, send it to them, and they will come up and do the electrical.
okay, good, because my first conversation with him was he was being reluctant,
Yeah,
but good. And then we have a gentleman from Cherokee Village that happens to work for the state that's doing our other inspections. Except plumbing will still be done by Chris Bacon, so we have a working
yeah. And
thing
he
right
said,
now while we look for a new.
we just have to compile a list of what needs to be done, and then they will set a date to come up and do it.
Good, good.
And that's until February 1st. We've got until then to find somebody on our own or do what we need to do.
There was also some correspondence I had with Lindsay Moore, who's the head of all state inspections. Basically saying, what do we do right now, because we don't have our own person? And that's where he reached out and said, here, you can use this guy, whatever. But in the meantime, he said, apparently the mayor had been circulating out an ad kind of
Right.
for an inspector, but he was asking for things we can't do. Apparently, according to Lindsay, we cannot contract with a firm. We cannot contract with somebody at all. It has to be an employee of the city. So if anybody wants to see that email, I have it. I think I put it in the packet, so everybody should have it as well. And that honestly was news to all of us. So,
Is the guy from Cherokee currently getting paid? Does he get paid?
not by us, no, but he gets paid by the state.
Okay.
And I think he was here one day this week and he did 5-6 inspections and he's really nice guy, so easy going. It won't be a problem with him, so. The second item on the agenda is the Boy Scout use of community center, and that's just there because we said it had to be. Last council member, we said move it to finance, so is there anything anybody wants to say about that? I think the idea of renting it out for $25 a month is still out there, so, but.
I wanted to bring up something. I'll be real brief. I found something in our notes from years ago for the little theater that we would be charged $50 each performance for the full use of the clubhouse. This includes cast meetings, rehearsals, and performances. So we normally have 3. So that was $150 for the entire thing from start to finish. And then I wanted to show this. This was what we did for the $100. The little theater did this for our youth of the area. They did essays, and I wish the city would have supported them. Not the little theater, but these youth. Their essays were so inspiring, and you would not have believed what they said. For high school kids and even middle school, you would have been so proud. And I wish that this community, regardless of your political views, and no matter who is on the board or who is in the little theater, that you would come and support the arts and these kids.
How do you
Thank
find
you.
out about it?
It was in the paper. It was advertised.
I mean, I get paper, but I don't.
Well, I understand, and we tried to get it out everywhere and with everything.
And I even tried to call you about it. Didn't I?
At 9 o'clock at night, I don't
It was
answer.
8.
Oh, whatever, anyway.
8:59.
Eight.
It's still an 8.
Anyway, but guys, we don't have $100 per meeting. And not to be rude, but I'm gonna say, if you're trying to get the groups not to meet there, we don't have to, we can go somewhere else. If you're trying to get us not to be a group, that's not gonna happen. We need our arts, we need our clubs, we need our things. This used to be a booming town. I'm going through all of our old stuff right now, and we used to have stuff at the theater. We used to have Dogwood Days. Jeanette, you know, we used to have men dress up as women and have a grand old time. Yes, I'm looking at you.
I done it.
I know, so is he. He got kicked out of school for it. But anyway, come on,
All right, thank you.
okay? Yeah.
So, any other,
That's the things we have no clue, have no idea that we're holding you back from anything. We're not, we want that too.
Well, but groups like us, we can't afford 25 a meeting. We can't afford 100 a meeting. We just can't. We are nonprofit. The only time we make any money is if we put on a play, and that's once or twice a year.
And I think we discussed last meeting about if you're not making money, letting you use it for free. I mean,
Well, we didn't make any money
just-
when we did that, and we
just
got
discussed
charged 100. We paid it.
I don't believe we ever made a fee schedule.
No, you
that's the-
didn't.
That's the problem. There
No.
wasn't anything legally determined. It was just an arbitrary number he came up with.
So,
I believe it's the same numbers that MRID was using, but we don't, we were.
No, it's
This
not
whole
the
Boy
same.
Scouts discussion started because they proposed a new one. And everybody got mad about it. So that's where it started, that we're
Yeah,
trying. to
We're
come
the
up with-
brunt of it though, the little theater was, because it cost us $100
Well,
to showcase those kids.
again, until we have a different fee schedule, we have to be concerned about everybody, not just people who live here, because the property owners pay for the amenities, not just the people that live here. And so we're trying to do something that's fair to everybody, because if I live in Albuquerque, I don't really care about the little children's theater. I don't. I'm
It's
in
not a
Albuquerque.
little
Why am I paying my
children's
money
theater,
for
but-
that, you know? Because this is funded by the fees.
Best example.
So, right,
It's
I'm just
not a
saying,
point-
someplace else other than Arkansas or other than Horseshoe Bend, why would they care about the local Boy Scouts? Why would they care about the local little theater? They wouldn't. That's their money. They're just as, in fact, they're bigger contributors. More people who paid for that, the more property owners don't live here than live here. So that's what we're trying to be, is because we don't want them suing us either. So we're trying to be careful about it. I don't know what the right answer is, but we're working on it. Good.
Just a reminder that the council is representing all the property owners as well as the voters. That's two different people, as Bill has pointed out. You're representing all the property owners regarding amenity properties. Second of all, I know a lot of people in local theater outside of this area, and they do fundraising. They don't expect anything for free. They pay for their facilities. They pay for their, they do fundraising within their group. So, and I know many, many people who perform in local theater.
Bully for them.
Thank you.
but our point was that the council was supposed to vote on a fee and they didn't before that. That was my point.
Yeah, I think it was introduced at a finance meeting, so they couldn't vote out there, but with all the turmoil, there was nothing really to vote on, so.
Everything's back and forth, back and forth.
Right.
So,
The next item, if we're done with that, is the budget, and the mayor has submitted a budget. Everyone should have that in their, was in their mailboxes. Both of the major budgets, which was general fund and Parks and Rec, aren't legitimate budgets because both of them show losses, and you can't do that. You can't manufacture money, so revenue cannot be less than expenses. So I had gone ahead and then put it in everybody's packet. Mayor had some good ideas. There were a few things that he didn't understand on sheets, and in all fairness, like he thought that the transfer every month for taxes that goes to general fund from Parks and Rec was actually an expense. It's not, that's actually part of salaries. And then there was a mistake on there regarding, the Golf Now fees. It was erroneously put on someplace as a debit when it was actually a credit. So when we took those, I think we got a lot closer to making budget on Parks and Rec. So, and then a few other things with the revenue and stuff. So I've tweaked it. It does balance now. The general fund barely balances though. And so I did put in a contingent in there for transfer from capital assets. We had to do that last year, mainly because of the insurance that was misreported as revenue when it wasn't. So, but otherwise, he didn't really do much with the sewer, the street. Fire department, I just was informed I don't know where he got it from, because he didn't get it from the fire department, so we'll review that before council. But anyway, I think that's all I really need to see on it. If there's anybody got any questions on where I got anything, I'm certainly welcome to answer, or I'm certainly willing to answer. But, what is their balances now? I mean, we're talking about, I think it was 940,000 for the general fund, and I think the Parks and Rec is around $1 million, so.
Anyone have any budget related questions or items to talk about? Moving on to new business. ADM ordinance.
Yeah, so there's a thing that was passed in the state just passed legislative outing called accessory. I'm trying to remember what it's called, but it's basically, we call it the mother-in-law building. Used to be that cities could say you can't have that, you can't have a separate residence on your, but the state says we have to allow it. Now, we're still allowed to do our setbacks and so on and so forth. But other than that, we have to redo our zoning ordinance. So I'm not sure if I put it in the packet or not, but Raul was good enough to rewrite the parts of our zoning code, whatever, that need to be changed. And so we'll have that at council, but we're required to pass it. So it's going to have to be a suspend the rule type thing and get it passed at the next council meeting. But we're just following the law, so it shouldn't be a big deal. So. I had two other things, but any questions on that at all?
Way it's written in the law, it's Bill 1503. Item 2 says it's a by right. And by stating that, they say that the city must approve without requiring A, public hearing, B, variance, condition, use permit, or special permit. In other words, it goes on from there. Anybody interested needs to get a copy of this law and look at it. It's really tying the hands of our building committee and the city and allowing this to happen. I thought, when I heard about it early on, when they passed it, I thought it was to allow, like you stated, a mother-in-law building where you have a little one on your property. Your mother-in-law is a widow, and she comes to live. But the way this law, you read through it, neither the property main building nor this adjacent accessory dwelling unit, they call it, does not have to be occupied by the owner of the land. Both people could be renters. And it's very problematic the way this law is written out. I wish I should have known more about this when they're passing through. I thought the objective was to allow someone to assist a family member. And this thing needs to be really looked at, and maybe we need to really try and lobby for a change in this, but it's too late at this point. We have to do something because we're required January 1, 2026. According to this, we have to allow them to do this. You don't have to require parking for that additional building.
Right.
You don't have,
What do you see the problem being? Like, what is the issue with the bill?
If
the issue's gonna be?
Jones, I'm just picking a name out. Jones owns a piece of property he's renting. And he wants to get a little more rent money off that lot. This law will allow him to put a building that's 75% the size of the main building and rent it out. to something, neither one or his relatives or anything to do with them. They're both renters. And the city is required to allow them to put that building up. And,
But it has to be done in accordance with, you know,
Yep.
local building regulations. I mean, they can't just throw up a shack and say. we're
need to
charging
read,
rent.
need to read the bill and see what you interpret. I'm saying, when he has that by right, I wish they hadn't put that part in there. Because it doesn't even allow you to have a public hearing about it or variance concerning that little building.
They can have a building, but it has to be. If you're going to have people in it, it has to be code or building code. I mean, that's like,
There's a couple of.
It's not gonna be a shanty. It has to be occupiable. It has to have it has to have a bathroom, has to have kitchen facilities in that space. And, yeah, those things have to be in there, but you need to really take some time and look at this over. 'Cause
I think
it's
something
involved.
you're not thinking about though, most of these lots around here are not big enough for it because they're not gonna have a septic. And by law, they'll have to go through the state. That has nothing to do with the city. The state regulates your septic system. And they're fairly room for their own, much less trying to add another one to it. And, you know, because they can't be close to each other either.
Yeah, my understanding is they don't have to,
They
they don't have to get their
I
own
agree.
septic, but the septic has to be sized to handle, and most aren't.
Right, right.
So those
Most
are
of
the
them
big
barely
pots in
work it
here.
out.
You,
That's gonna.
most of them
Cancel
won't,
it out?
Sewage is
Excuse me?
gonna stop a lot of.
Will that cancel it out?
yes, from,
Sure.
we're
They
allowed,
would have to change the septic system to
right.
Accommodate.
be
Comes down to
adequate
fixture
to
units.
We're putting a new
handle
one
the
in if
extra.
there's
And you gotta think, most of your backyard is your septic.
Because
or
they're
your
too small, because the lots are too small.
Right,
There
we
you
put
go.
other drain fields,
They-
it's not, yeah.
They
so-
still have to abide by the setbacks of the city.
Sure.
In other words, if you can't meet
I need a copy of that.
your normal setbacks, you
I know.
Makes sense.
know,
We need to look at it all over carefully, because that's the problem we have. They're kind of tying their hands a lot.
Zoning board.
I don't like that part. that says by
You
right.
just can't specifically
Well, no.
outlaw it. It still has to meet the rest of your codes.
Right.
Okay.
right.
So anyway,
Yeah, and if it can fit, great, what's it hurting us?
right,
Well,
they do it
right,
correctly,
good.
then
Right.
Okay.
correct.
But excuse me, Brian, but you were talking about if both units were rented out, that's what you were getting at as it being a bigger problem? Was that what you were going?
Well, again, I thought
Possibly.
it was to allow you to bring a family member here
Okay,
in the initiation of this thing.
okay.
But as it's completed, neither person, if you are able to put the two dwellings, neither one of them have to be related to the owner
Right.
All
at
right,
all. That it be
Okay.
a cousin or a mother-in-law or anybody, could
If
be
the lot's big
anybody.
enough and they have room,
okay.
Yeah.
we
Right.
take more people in town.
Okay, so how would that work with people on city sewer? Is that another sewer?
Still gotta have enough room, yeah, you'd have to have another sewer tap.
Yep. Okay.
Probably have to have another water meter, because you can't.
They allow you to
They
even,
do allow you to.
this
uh,
law
piggyback on
allows
the
them to
same
even
lot.
connect it to the main house.
Yeah.
As long as it has a separate entrance and not go.
Right, but
through
you
that.
can't hook it up with a water hose or anything, it'd have to
Right.
be plumbed in.
Correct,
Because
correct,
that's a water law, I don't matter what you think.
right.
This-
You still have to
So that
abide by the
people-
state codes that they have.
Right. I don't perceive it being a problem at all. I perceive people trying to drag in illegal barns.
Fixing them up.
Right, they already do
Uh-huh.
that anyway.
Donnie, don't laugh about it. It's already happened.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Don't give people ideas.
I don't think we're the first ones to talk about it.
Don't.
All right, public comments. Anyone who want to come out and talk?
Is that the whole thing?
I think everybody's been talking anyway.
Okay, dude.
Oh, that was the ADU. Okay, additional.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Additional dwelling unit
Look, it's been a long month.
or accessory dwelling.
I do have one thing to bring up that we need to look at. Probably won't do this till January or whatever, but, Chris has brought up concern about the, ordinance for the water department. We have not looked at the expense of putting a tap in for the city. And, what we're putting into the ground for a new tap is like twice what we're charging for a new tap. That's just the meter, the 3/4 meter that we have, it's like $700, we're only charging $350. So,
Well, Chris needs to show up and bring this to us. That's his job.
I understand,
Cause I raised it 10 years ago because it was like that.
I understand.
He needs to
I'm
come
just
to me
trying
and
to
bring that forward.
bring this forth all, because I've heard it, and I'm just saying, it sounds to me like something needs to be addressed by us, as the council.
It probably needs to be cost plus 10%, just like sewer. Instead
Uh,
of guessing it,
That was one.
brass prices every year.
I'll drink to that.
His thoughts on it was, raise it to $750 for a tap and for a 3/4. For anything over that, if they wanted a 1 inch or whatever, it would be, cost plus 20, is what he was thinking of recommending. I know you should bring it, but I'm just trying to get it in front of us.
I think he needs to bring that to us.
The only other thing I had was our website developer, I guess, and probably working with somebody at Animal Control, that was proposing the idea of creating an animal wellness, animal control calendar that would have advertising on it, and you could set up the funds for animal control, but she also acknowledged it's kind of late in the year. People have already probably got their calendars for the year, but she also said there was somebody that was willing to fund it, to actually pay for the whole expense. So if you guys want, we can bring this to council, so at least you can decide on it. I have a picture, kind of, if anybody can see that, of what the idea was. So I think it's a great idea. I'm just not sure that it makes a lot of sense to be doing it, because it wouldn't even get printed till January.
What do they want from us to be able to do it?
It's just permission.
Permission, resolution giving them permission.
I don't think they need,
I wouldn't think you'd need permission.
Yeah,
either.
I think it's nice that they're asking. that.
Right.
it is, but I don't think.
Make a calendar, go for it. It's free, you should go to it.
So,
Does the fire department want to make a calendar?
No.
Oh, come on.
Huh?
Oh, come on.
Somebody else.
I think it's a
can
great
do it.
idea.
I'll be gone. Pulling my hair out, getting it through.
Oh, I see, okay.
Not
never mind.
knowing what I'm doing on the website.
That's right.
There's only one last word on it.
Never mind.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
who's second, Luther?
Don't forget about the Christmas parade Saturday.
Saturday.
5:30.
5:30?
Hmm.
Okay, I thought, so was
It's
that
a nighttime.
I think I seen 5 o'clock too. Somewhere.
Well, if you get there at 5, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Maybe lineup starts
Is there-
at
it's a
5.
nighttime parade, the first night.
Second, yeah.
Second, we have a first and second, yeah.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
What's it?
Saturday, the 13th.
You